looks like he just came from Emmett Kelly's funeral.
You're avoiding the issue when the attack is closed. Stick to the issue. The issue is across the street.
Listen, a slime like you in the White House, I puke on you.
What's success for you in this campaign?
What's success? Well, to win is one is the goal.
That's not going to happen.
Another question about electability. Do you have any, sir? There's always the question as to whether or not you are, in fact.
Ron Paul is a no one.
Ron Paul really has no business being on stage.
Open your eyes. Abre los ojos.
Modern technology has reduced the need for the large embassies. We must also end the practice of stationing intelligence agents in our embassies. This practice helped to precipitate the hostage crisis in Iran and possibly even in Lebanon. These intelligence agents serve no diplomatic function whatsoever.
Computer surveillance seems appropriate for 1994 and unfortunately the wave of the future. This is in spite of the fact that Social Security's and Health and Human Services computers are already being used to keep tabs on our 18 and 19-year-olds. Millions of tax dollars are spent on this type of computer surveillance, a disgusting procedure for a professed free society.
And you just think about how many times you read in the last 6 or 8 years that the government's told us there's nothing to worry about, there's no inflation. Well, there's been a greater expansion of money now than there was in the 20s. Of course, there was a greater speculation in the stock market and a bigger stock market crash. So I anticipate, and many Austrian free market economists anticipate, that the recession that's coming will not be a recession at all. It'll be a depression. It'll probably be bigger than the one we had in the 1930s.
I don't see that we have the authority to all of a sudden impose our system of justice across the entire world. I do not think it's effective. I think it drums up more anti-American hostility more than it achieves justice. Prepared statement for tomorrow, and in that statement I talk about a much more serious act that the President committed than anything that we've generally talked about, and that was the illegal bombing of Sudan and Afghanistan. $200 million were spent for that without congressional approval. Not only is it annoying, I think it's illegal, I think it's unconstitutional, I think it's an act of war. There's no threat. We're going to do more harm by doing this. I mean, that's what we should be addressing. But I wish the Congress would address the unconstitutionality of presidents waging war. That, to me, is a lot more serious than Monica Lewinsky, let me tell you. Our foolish policy in Iraq invites terrorist attacks against U.S. territory and incites the Islamic fundamentalists against us. Our arrogant policy and attitude of superiority will continue to elicit a smoldering hatred us, and out of sheer frustration will motivate even more terrorist attacks against us.
يعني من الذي قال أن أبناءنا والمدنيين عندنا غير أبرياء ودمهم مباح ولو بدرجة ما، وإذا قتلنا المدنيين عندهم صاحت الدنيا علينا من مشرقها إلى مغربها منذ عشرات السنين. أكثر من مليون طفل ماتوا في العراق وما زالوا يموتون. فلما لا نسمع صارخ ولا مستنكر ولا من يواسي ولا من يعد.
Federal Reserve credit created during the last 8 months has not stimulated economic growth in technology or the industrial section, but a lot of it ended up in the expanding real estate bubble. This too will burst, as all bubbles do. The Fed, the Congress, or even foreign investors can't prevent the collapse of this bubble. The United States, with Tony Blair as head cheerleader, will attack Iraq without proper authority, and a major war, the largest since World War II, will result. The United States will not officially lose the war, but neither will we win. Military and police powers will grow, satisfying the conservatives. The welfare state, both domestic and international, will expand, satisfying the liberals. During the next decade, the American people will become poorer and less free, while they become more dependent on the government for economic security. Agitation from more class warfare will succeed in dividing us domestically. I have no timetable for these predictions, but just in case, keep them around and look at them in 5 to 10 years. Let's hope and pray that I'm wrong on all accounts.
These losses will be greater than they would have otherwise been had government policy not actively encouraged over-investing in housing. And you go on to say, because so many people will invest in housing, the damage will be catastrophic. Congressman, how could it be that you knew this on the banking committee in 2003 and nobody else did until after the collapse?
Today, this country is in the middle of a recession for a lot of people. Michigan knows about it. Poor people know about it. The middle class knows about it. Wall Street doesn't know about it. Washington, D.C. doesn't know about it. But it's because of the monetary system and the excessive spending. As long as we live beyond our means, we are destined to live beneath our means. And we have lived beyond our means because we are financing a foreign policy that is so extravagant and beyond what we can control, as well as the spending here at home. And we're depending on the creation of money out of thin air, which is nothing more than debasement of the currency. It's counterfeit.
Now, how rapidly it will move in the next 12 months or so, I can't say that. But my guess is that by November next year, the main topic won't be bin Laden. The main topic is going to be how come I'm getting poorer and poorer, and why did Wall Street rip us off because they were too big to fail, and why do they continue to make huge profits at the same time unemployment stays very high and the people who lost their houses haven't gotten their houses back again. I think that'll still be the major issue.
Why did the Federal Reserve bail out the rich? Why didn't they give the money to the mortgage holders? If you care about poor people,
so Representative Paul,
houses, why didn't you use helicopters? Why didn't you use helicopters and pass it out to the home builders?
So somebody's stealing wealth, and this is very upsetting. You know, as much as I would like to do something with the Fed, I say the Fed's going to self-destruct eventually anyway when the money's gone. But my question is, if you took that $5.1 trillion and said that consumer spending is good, you could have given every single person in this country $17,000. Why is it the program of both the Congress and the Fed to direct the money to the people who have been making a lot of money?
There is one candidate who has been largely ignored by the mainstream media. Shame on us. He deserves more attention from us than he's getting. Ron Paul makes a lot of sense, and more people ought to listen to him. The federal government increasingly dysfunctional, and the country is more divided maybe than at any time since the Civil War. Yes, Ron Paul is a conservative, but he's not one of those who goes around hitting people over the head with his Bible.
But Paul, you say that the federal government should stay out of people's personal habits. You say marijuana, cocaine, even heroin should be legal if states want to permit it. You feel the same about prostitution and gay marriage?
Yes, you have a right to do things that are very controversial. If not, you're going to end up with government that's going to tell us what we can eat and drink and whatever.
Senator, are you suggesting that heroin and prostitution are an exercise of liberty?
What you're inferring is, you know what? If we legalize heroin tomorrow, everybody's going to use heroin. How many people here would use heroin if it was legal? I bet nobody would put their hand, oh yeah, I need the government to take care of me. I don't want to use heroin, so I need these laws.
sir. I mean, are you sure you're a Republican from Texas? Because you are a breath of fresh air.
I have this terrible habit of wanting to try to be consistent and develop a philosophy that is coherent.
Jared writes, yes, the real question is, are Americans ready to put on their big boy pants and accept some of the truths Ron Paul has been telling us for decades? We're broke. Our wars are a racket. The Fed is destroying our currency. The Congress is ripping us off. The threat of terrorism has been exaggerated. We're never going to agree on everything, so let's focus on agreeing on one thing, that we should all be free. We should all be free.
By the way, congratulations to the Lions on a great season and to the next great season.
Please help me in welcoming him, Dr. Congressman, Presidential Candidate Ron Paul.
He will become the Thomas Jefferson of our day. Ron Paul is one of us.
It's not like I'm just trying to win and get elected. I'm trying to change the course of history.